Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team is currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 hit games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description listing the entire directory structure of this archive. Here's what our diggers have for week 284. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. First up, Elkovsky has dug up WINGAMES /GG/ANIMOUSE. I've got a bad feeling this is going to be something very simple, but, well, we'll find out in a second here. ANIMOUSE. You got a doc, exe, file id.diz, register form, vendor doc. What's the diz say? ANIMOUSE 4.0 animates Windows mouse cursors with your selections for the arrow, hourglass, and sizers. Okay, and the doc file is making it look like it's freeware, because it says here you may distribute this program freely. Might only be referencing the shareware version or something. And apparently made by a Troy Beckstrom. Let's see if we got any extra details in here. Oh no, it is shareware. There's a registration fee listed here of $10 for the actual fee and $2 shipping and handling. Okay then. So I guess we'll just run it then. So ANIMOUSE. So let's see what we got here. So it looks like for the moment, it's actually quite a lot to choose from there from the looks of it. I don't know if this is going to affect everything. Like if these are all different. Okay, so these initial ones here are just sort of... Okay, that's weird. Having a mouse cursor that has like dots rotating around it. Well, it's interesting that you can actually select different things for the different indicators, and that there seems to be one for each of them. But then at the same time, you'd almost hope that there would be a way to actually, Oh. So I could actually change the hourglass into an arrow cursor. Okay, I see what's going on now. So it's the initial word there showing what cursor it should be replacing. But then some of them don't look like they're, Oh, I just noticed you can actually adjust the speed of them too. So if I set the speed like that, well, that's going real slow. Or if I set it all the way to maximum, that's actually pretty decent animation speed on the mouse cursor, of all things. And yeah, it's not really flickering here. It does flicker if I put it over top of the, I'll have to turn it down a little. Well, it was flickering at one moment when I had it. Oh yeah, it's flickering slightly. I don't know if the video recording is going to pick that up or not. Well, that's kind of trippy. Having a large arrow cursor that's actually translucent in the middle. Like, it's actually just a dither, because you can't make translucency effects like this, like with actual translucency in Windows on a mouse cursor. At least not in the original Windows 3.1. So it's using a dithering effect instead. So it's like some pixels are solid and some pixels are not. So that's kind of weird. And then apparently we've also got this radioactive cursor, which is just sort of like a whole bunch of random pixels and such. Or there's even an hourglass that's radioactive apparently. Although it looks like we have things here that don't. Okay, what are these for? Okay, so we got a bomb, which looks like it's going to explode. There it goes. So I'm guessing these are like weight animations to replace the hourglass. And we got Tetris blocks going into place and making lines. Although that's kind of weird, the way it's doing that. You'd almost think they should have done like translucent around a frame or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, the Pac-Man one is just a Pac-Man sort of, except going that way. Okay, this one's a little weird. So apparently these animations can also be timed to button clicks. So this particular cursor here is a syringe, which doesn't seem to do much, but when you click the mouse button down, it like does this injection animation. And then when you let go of the button, it pulls it out. That's a little weird. Okay, that's interesting. So these cursors can also do inversion effects, or how's it referred to? Because when you're masking images in Windows, you can either do like replacements of the stuff on the screen, or you can do like, there's different ways you can have the images blitted to the screen. And one of them is to sort of XOR the pixels, which I think is what does this effect, where it sort of like inverts everything. This one's called the annoying happy face, but it's mostly just a weirdly drawn one that then spins. Okay, this one's just a printer printing out paper. Like, that might be a little confusing to use for a weight cursor, because then you might be thinking, oh, it's printing something, and that's why the cursor looks like that. But no, that's not it at all. Okay, this one's called a crushed toaster. Like, it's got a very tiny cursor on it, and we got a toaster. It says press mouse button. Okay. So you press the mouse button, and you don't even have to hold it down. It just smashes it with a foot. Monty Python style. Or hey, we can even take the foot to a Macintosh. Right like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't squish any further. Okay, so admittedly, there are a lot of cursors to choose from here. Now, obviously, not all of them are going to be necessarily useful, but it is interesting that they have so many choices here. The only thing I would say is this worth $10, having all these different mouse cursors and stuff? And even this very oddly angled mouse cursor. And I guess that's really the question is, do you need more than just this basic cursor? And I guess that's kind of a weird question to ask, because if you go forward into later versions of Windows, it actually does become possible to change the mouse cursor to different styles and everything. I think it was Windows 95 that introduced that as a standard feature, or it might have been Windows 98, one of those two. Or heck, it might have been even later. I remember at some point Windows gained the ability to change the cursor, and that came about with like different themes you could do and everything. So I do remember older programs that had these functions, like this one here. Now, this one's actually very basic in terms of what it's doing, because it's not overriding the standard method of how Windows displays the cursor. Thus why all of these different cursors here are still limited to sort of a black and white thing. Like, I mean, this one, like, it looks like there's different colors in there from a distance, but I could just be imagining that. It could just be black and white. I'm just not close enough to the screen to really see that. And if it was color, then why don't any of the other cursors have color? Like, none of the other cursors have color. So I think it could be just that, yeah, it's just the standard cursors here. But the thing I was trying to get at is that the software that was created to do this sort of same thing, a lot of it actually overrode the way Windows handled the cursor so that it could have like colored cursors and stuff. And I think some of those programs were like malware or something, like some of the earliest malware around. But the point is that this program is very basic, and if you want a very large selection of mouse cursors back in the days of Windows 3.1, this would be one of the few ways to do it. So I guess it really just comes down to preference. If you're willing to spend $12, 10 plus 2 shipping, to get different mouse cursors or not. Next up, Dookie has dug up WINGAMES /NEWWIN /Kismet. This one, I don't really have any idea what this is going to be. Where is it? Kismet is right there. So file id.diz, help file, and an executable. And the executable is not very big. So what's the id.diz say? Kismet dice game for Windows. That tells me literally nothing. Okay, let's go into the help file. So we've got the smallest table of contents ever. What is Kismet? The great game of Kismet is a dice game similar to the more well-known but infinitely inferior Yahtzee. Oh boy. The object of the game is to get a whole load of points. Simple, right? You get 3 rolls per turn, re-rolling as many dice as you wish on each roll. After your 3 rolls or less, you choose which category to fill in for this turn. So yeah, that's basically Yahtzee? Why is this called Kismet? Okay, I just looked up Kismet online, and there is actually a difference between it and Yahtzee, and we're going to see it in a second, provided this program works. Yep, and you can already see the difference. In Kismet, the dice have colors on the pips, and that's actually important. And I've got a funny feeling this is not going to maximize, so nope, didn't think it would. So yeah, some of the categories here are similar to what you would get in Yahtzee, except this section here, we get some very different categories. So 2 pairs of the same color, or 3 of a kind, or a straight, or a flush. So yeah, flush is something that's possible now. So if they're all the same color, and there's 3 different colors, there's black, red, and green. So, and then full house of the same color, 4 of a kind, a Yarborough, or a Kismet itself. I don't know what the difference between those is going to be. Okay, the about doesn't help us, but that tells us that this particular one, 1965 Spare Time Products Incorporated. I might be referring to the very first publication of the game. But anyways, this one apparently was made by an Alan Harder. So, oh, we got a reference card. Okay, that's not a very useful reference card if you're putting it on a modal window, because now I can't actually do anything with this. It's stuck on the screen until I actually get rid of it. That's not a good reference card. The reference card should be a window that you can just set aside while playing the game. Also, I just noticed that this particular card here doesn't actually show what these are or how to attain them. It's just showing the point values of them. So I guess to know how to actually score them at the first place, we actually have to go into the instructions here in categories and scoring. So the Kismet section. So 2 pairs of the same color. So must have 2 pairs of the same color. So includes 4 of a kind. 5th die can be anything. Okay. 3 of a kind, makes sense. Straight, all 5 dice must be consecutive in value, makes sense. Okay, so Yarborough is all 5 dice can be anything, and Kismet is all 5 dice must have the same value. So, like the Yahtzee in Yahtzee. Okay, so I guess well, high scores is just a bunch of zeros for the moment. New game. Okay, so 3 rolls left, so we'll roll. So here's the first dice we come up with here. Got a couple 3s and a 4. Not really a lot to work with here. I could try to go for a flush. Now I don't know, I think the yellow pip means that it will roll that if I hit the roll button. So if I turn these off and hit roll. Okay, let's see if we can go for that flush. Nope, we didn't get it. But we do have 3 of a kind, so plug that into 3 of a kind. Okay, so once again, I've got some greens that we might want to try to do something with. Oh, I already got 4 of a kind here. Ooh, but I also have the flush. Ooh. Do I risk going for the 5 of a kind, or the Kismet, or do I just stick with... Well, here's the thing. If I try to go for that, it's a 1 in 6 shot. Whereas at the moment, I have a 4 of a kind. So, oh no, wait a minute. If I don't decide not to go for the flush, then I'm not risking anything trying to go for the 5 of a kind. So yeah, let's try to go for that 5 of a kind. I didn't get it, so we'll go 4 of a kind. Oh wow, first roll, and I've already got 4 black dice and just 1 green one. So I'm going to hold on to all of these, see if we can get the flush going. Nope, and okay. So I actually got the full house here, same color, so that's going to be worth a good, decent chunk of change right there. So roll again, and it's almost like I didn't even roll. I've already got 4 black dice. Okay, so roll again, and okay, that didn't work. Now I should point out that the way these dice are colored, it's basically a 1 in 3 shot if you've only got 1 die left and you're trying to go for a flush. So yeah, in that case we got it. And because of the nature of the dice, the way it is, chances are you're going to have a full house when you do get the flush. But I guess in this case I'm going to put it into flush, so right there. And then, okay, we got 2 pair different color, but that's not on the card. So, Oh, hello. I just got the Kismet. I still have 1 roll left even. But screw that, just put it right in there. That was unexpected. I was trying to go for just 2 pair of the same color, but so yeah, let's try for that 2 pair of the same color again here. Ooh. Yeah, just gonna try rolling again. No, that's not gonna work. Well, I just rolled a straight. Like, just all 5 dice, just straight right then and there. I still have 2 rolls left, but don't need them. Already got the straight. Okay, so the last thing we're trying to go for here is the full house. Let's see if we can get it. That was a terrible first roll going for a full house. Might as well just re-roll the entire set. Okay, we got a couple 2s. This is not gonna work. Nope. So it didn't get that final full house. Oh well, so enter your name. And there we go. We made a final score of 282. So that was Kismet. That's actually a decent variation of Yahtzee, and apparently a really old one too, given the age of the original creation of this. It is kind of neat adding the colors to the dice. I think my only complaint is that 2 pairs, some of these are a little too similar, like full house and full house same color. Well, I got full house same color multiple times over the course of this, but never really got a full house with different colors. Like, I mean, I understand it's possible, it's just the nature of what you're going to try to go for makes getting a full house that isn't the same color kind of almost more challenging, because you wouldn't normally be trying to go for it. And then 2 pairs same color is so close to full house same color because there's so little variation to the colors that it almost seems like this would be better to be 2 pairs just without being the same color. But then, what do I know? So yeah, decent variation on the whole Yahtzee formula. So if you wanted something different and not Yahtzee, like, this works. And our last take for today from Yarmoranta is WINGAMES/GG/WINGO. As much as I want this to be Wing Zero from System Shock, you know, the little mini game in System Shock, you play it in the HUD and it's got like the ships flying around, kind of like Wing Commander, I've got a funny feeling this is going to be the board game Go, and nothing to do with Wing Commander. So where are we? WINGO. So once again, file id.diz, got a readme with no extension, that's always not fun. Vendor.doc, help file, and whatever an STP file is, probably scores or something. Anyways, WINGO is a fun version of Bingo for Windows. Okay, I was kind of off there. Play against several levels of computer opponents, use as many cards as you can and play at the speed you like. Hold on a second. Play against several levels of computer opponents. It's bingo. The entire thing is freaking random. Okay, given this right here, I'm going to guess that there's going to be a time factor involved here. Because in a real bingo hall, everything, like, they don't wait for people to finish stamping their cards. Like, you gotta stamp your cards, and you gotta do it right. So, I got a funny feeling that this is going to play more like that than like than doing things automatically for the player. We do have that readme. Let's see if we can drag and drop that in. Oh, right. This is the old days of Windows, when if you try to drag and drop something over a window in the background, it moves that window to the foreground because it thinks it's being helpful when it's not. Anyways. So the WINGO version 1.30 README file. Thanks for trying WINGO for Windows. This program is released as shareware. If you like it and intend to continue using it, please send $10 or $15 for an updated disk. Or $50. Wait, what? Okay, this is a very weird way of saying it, but I think because the program ultimately ended up in somebody's hands, the idea is you register it for $10, but you're not sent anything. But if you send $15, you get a disk with the latest version of the program. It's a very weird way of wording it, but okay, this README is just instructions on how to create a shortcut icon to it, so let's just run it. WINGO by Bob Dolan. Version 1.3, February 6, 94, Shareware, not registered. Okay, that's a very unusual window size. And it has a... Okay. Okay, then. So at first glance, because of the way this looks, we're going to maximize it, and it seems like, oh, it doesn't maximize properly. But this right here is a child window. This is actually inside the window that this program has normally created. So when we start moving it off the edges of the screen, we get scroll wheels. And the program's actually smartly figuring out like how much room is taken up by these. So I got a funny feeling that when we start, if we start a new game or something, we're going to start getting more child windows. So that's going to be interesting. Apparently we've got high scores for different modes of play. Yep, enter registration number. So yeah, you register the program on the spot. You're not sent a disk unless you pay extra for the disk. So, and then we got options here. We got game setup, so we can set which kind of games to play. So we don't have to, we can disallow certain types of scoring. Yeah, I don't understand this skill thing. Like, how much skill is there to just stamping numbers, or in this case, clicking on them? Unless it's like a time limit, but it's not like you can't stamp a number that isn't already showing on the thing. So I guess the skill, it really could just be just how long it takes between each number called out. Wait, there's a speed here? But then what the heck is the skill setting for? I'm confused. Well, apparently we're going to get 3 bingo cards as well. So anyway, so if we hit new game. Okay, so we got our cards. Okay, one thing that's definitely going to make this easier is the fact that these numbers are in order. So W can only be between 1 and 15, I can only be between 16 and 30, yet etc., up to 75. So that'll make things easier looking for the correct numbers and everything. So I guess start. To win this game, just get 5 boxes and a vertical column. Okay, so we're doing a vertical column one. Okay, N37. Do I have an N37? I've got one there and there. And then we've got W11, there, G46. So it seems to be using the PC speaker for the sound effects. But the thing I'm noticing is that they're kind of inconsistent. Though that's just the nature of playing PC speaker effects in Windows, really. Okay, I should be getting something sooner or later. Now, it said that there was computer players as well, but I'm not seeing any computer players. Like, maybe they're being tracked in the background and we don't see them or something. I don't know. Oh, 69. Not nice, I don't have one. And it looks like it is doing alternate players, because it seems to have a note down here on what a particular computer player is waiting for. And apparently I've got a lot of these I'm waiting on. W14. Okay, that gives me a win on card 3. So yeah, you do have to actually tell it when you get a win on a card. So I guess enter name. Okay. And apparently this next round is going to be horizontal. And yeah, it's keeping track of... And it even says the level here that I was on. Given the fact that it's tracking a computer opponent that we don't see, I'm guessing that that when you set up the game to have... That when you set up the skill level of the game, it's actually setting how good the computer opponent is in terms of marking their cards and seeing when they actually hit something. So that's my guess. Now, I've never been to an actual bingo hall, so I have no idea how realistic the speed is on any of this, but anyways, this time we're going for horizontals, so let's see where we go. Although I will say it is actually a little difficult to see all of these boxes here, because they just sort of blend in really easily. So I can change the text colors. Ooh, that's very hard to look at. Black isn't much better, because it grays them out when you get them. Although we can make the cards bigger. Oh, that's definitely way easier to look at. I guess if you only have a small number of cards, that's not so bad then. I can't set any of the other things though. Can we stop the game? Yes, we can. So end your WINGO game, yes. So if we go into game setup, yeah, because one of the options here is to blank out the card covers. So if I do that and go to new game, we're back to verticals. You know what, that's fine. So start, going for vertical columns. So now, okay, now it actually blanks them out entirely. I think I like that better. Because that way you're not seeing the gray left over and getting confused by that. Actually, a funny thing is, one of my friends who may or may not be watching this video right now, who doesn't actually live in the same city as me, has said that they want to take me to an actual bingo hall one of these days. So that might be in my future at some point, because I never have actually been to a bingo hall before. And I should probably be paying more attention to my cards here, but I didn't think I saw anything come up there. Oh, and apparently Rosie, the computer opponent, hit a win on one of her cards. And it actually shows her card that she won on with the valid numbers indicated. Wait, Rosie got a high score? Oh, well, now that's interesting. The computer players are allowed to make high scores. I'm never a fan of that, because that means, depending on how things go, a computer player may end up making a score so outrageous that a human player would never be able to beat it. In fact, I don't think very many games actually have the ability for computer players to make high scores. Like, I mean, I know one of the more infamous ones is Scunny Cart, but yeah, that's just kind of weird. And it says right here R for the level, so I'm guessing that just means Rosie. I guess the computer player is known as Rosie, even though we've got all these Bob Dolans. So yeah, that was WINGO, which is basically a bingo game for Windows, and quite frankly, this plays pretty well. I would prefer different kinds of graphics for the cards instead of just using all the standard Windows buttons and everything. But, you know, for what it is, it actually plays perfectly fine. So if you wanted a bingo game for Windows that plays like real bingo, well, here you go.